Is that the reason why you knelt down before the Oba of Benin, begging for forgiveness that you brought Governor Godwin Obaseki? You think that it was a failure on your part bringing Governor Godwin Obaseki at that time, but the fact remains at the end of the day that those who believe that it wasn't about Governor Godwin Obaseki failing, it was your personal relationship that you fell out with him, and this was a personal issue and nothing to do with performance.
That's a poor recollection of history, Oshewu. You should know much better than that. First, you should know that even as a city governor of Edo State, I appreciate and I understand.
See, just take your time. Watch this Oshomole interview to the end. You know his boy had just been announced the governor of Edo State. You know, oh God. So listen to Oshomole. That communication does not matter. You know, APC. That's what they said at the campaign. It's not about communication. It's not about grammar. It's the same thing. So after all, Edo people are used to pidgin. We are used to pidgin. Anyhow. So if he goes to the United Kingdom, United States, or outside the country now, definitely Oshomole will be the one representing him, or they will send somebody to represent him, because he's going to commit blunder there. And those people might not even understand what he's talking about. They will be laughing at him. Oshomole understands that area already before bringing this guy. That was why I said Oshomole is only going to do third term in office. Indirectly, Oshomole is the governor of Edo State, just like indirectly Yaya Bello is on the run. He's still the governor of Kogi State. Take it or leave it. Somebody comment on the comment section. He said, hey, it's a lie. He did not agree with me when I said Oshomole is going to do third term in Edo State. We shall see now. Because during the campaign, Oshomole was the one doing all the major campaign, all the APC members. Oshomole, during the few time the Ukpebolo speaks at the campaign, Oshomole was still the one telling him what to say. Telling you, go and check all the videos. Well, it's not about speaking grammar though, but what can you offer? But somebody to come and open his mouth to say, I will give you insecurity, and you overlooked it. He said it doesn't matter. He made mistakes. No, Tinubu did not make mistake when he said he will reduce the purchasing power and widen the tax net. He did not make mistake. That is what he's doing today. It's the same thing Ukpebolo will do in Edo State. But I pray he didn't do this. I pray he shouldn't do the same thing though. So, but let's watch and see. Anyways, listen to this interview. Then you'll say you will agree that Oshomole is a shameful man. Maybe you hear him. If you like, go to court. We are waiting for you there. Who are you going to meet at the court? APC members, APC judges, order from above, commander-in-chief. So, as for Udalo PDP, just forget about it. Not go and waste money and waste everything in the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal. And the Supreme Court is a waste of time. They don't collect this governorship from Obaseki, from Aswe Udalo. They don't collect them. Go to court 200 years to come. They not will feel upturn this election, can't give it to you. Say, Udalo winner. Nalayo. You just want to go give those lawyers money. Lawyers go advise you, say, no worry, we have evidence. My life, evidence does not count in the court of Nigeria of Tinubu. No lie, it don't count, not waste your time. Anyways, please watch this video to the end, and please subscribe, please.
Statement, he said you were wrong, that you don't have your facts right in that statement, and he's going to call for you to retract.
Very good. So we'll meet in court.
Is that the reason why you knelt down before the Oba of Benin, begging for forgiveness that you brought Governor Godwin Obaseki? You think that it was a failure on your part bringing Governor Godwin Obaseki at that time, but the fact remains at the end of the day that those who believe that it wasn't about Governor Godwin Obaseki failing, it was your personal relationship that you fell out with him, and this was a personal issue and nothing to do with performance.
That's a poor recollection of history, Oshewu. You should know much better than that. First, you should know that even as a city governor of Edo State, I appreciate and I understand and I respect the institution of the Oba of Benin and of all the royal fathers in Edo State. And I knelt down. I always kneel down before the Oba. I will always do so. Even when the Oba, before the current Oba, asked me not to do so, I said no. A father is always a father. If you want to fault me from being humble, that's your point.
So yeah. This is the context.
And I said, listen, I know what I said.
Yeah, no, you said you don't want to stand up.
Pardon?
No, in that video, at some point you said you still want to remain on your knee.
That's the details. I was on my knee as a court reporter. Whether for 10 hours or for 1 minute, it's the same. You really want to emphasize that whether I knelt down for 10 hours or for 1 minute is important. The point is that I knelt. And I know that our cameras there, so I didn't do so secretly. I said, I apologize. Because not a few people keep telling me, oh, we told you that this man will not perform. We told you about the character of this man. And look at the damage he has done. Putting a woman to prison for 3 months, a pregnant woman, 8 months pregnant, and delivery twins in prison, and the woman died thereafter. These news are all over the place. Now you go to Edo, the only mass transit on road, I had the buses I bought, which I call comrade buses. Of course, you remove the word comrade, but can you remove the image of the buses? The one he bought, he withdraw them after he was the government treasury. So what is it that they were campaigning with? I've been a lawyer. Oshomole is a tailor. I say, fine. In business or politics, the tailor probably know everybody that wear clothes in the city or in the village. The butcherman, maximum, in a typical rural Nigeria, they don't know what it's about. Not talk about what is a director. They see them as the oppressors who create all kinds of crises here and there. So a tailor is typically a friend of the community. A woman wants to get married is looking for a tailor. Your clothes get on, you look for a tailor to patch it. So I'm a proud tailor. So, but what the issue is, what will you do? Oh, I'm going to big bank. We go to, these big transactional jargons. And those were not the kind of people we vote for. Because of the performance of Obaseki, he was even reluctant to appear with him. On the other hand, without Obaseki, he hasn't got any identity of his own. And so, like I used to say, and I still do say, and he can go to court, that the two are two leprous figures of the same leprous hand. And the people we do were not to near any of the fingers.
Governor Oshomole, I'm gonna. The reason why I brought the issue of you apologizing for bringing.
No, anytime I realize I made a mistake, I never hesitate to apologize.
So the question is,
that's who I am.
I hope, and the people are asking, they hope that you will not apologize again, because the capacity of the man you backed this time around, compared to all other candidates, would you say that is the best man on in store for that could do the job for the people of Edo State?
Sure, with due respect, this is still an unhelpful academic question. Edo people have spoken about their choice. Who are you, with due respect, to say that their judgment is faulty?
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, you need to revise the definition of democracy.
You apologize for bringing Godwin Obaseki. The question is that we hope that you will not apologize again.
Okay, noted.
Let me ask you, Governor, are you worried about the commentary on the outcome of this election? Some of which, for example, the PDP candidate said his mandate was brazenly stolen. How do you respond to that?
Are you hearing such statement for the first time?
No.
The acting chairman of PDP, who talk about defending vote with his blood, because the people were not going to sacrifice their blood for anybody. We subscribe to President Jonathan's school, which says the election of even a president is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. And you had a PDP national chairman who is acting with all the crises around the status, talking about bloodbath for election. You had Obaseki, watch him on channel, insisting that it's a do or die. And when you ask him, he said, if they do, then they will be dead. Now the people have done it, so I guess it's politically dead.
You think so?
I know so.
Because the reason why I'm asking this is...
Excuse me, the verdict is out. I want you to really be dispassionate. In a sense, I think that your candidate lost the election. No. You are making judgments.
I'm not making judgment. I'm asking simple questions.
They're not simple questions.
Yeah, they are simple.
When you sit down here, when you sit down here to ask me that, whether I thought that of all the candidates, that the APC candidate was the most qualified and competent, is that question meant to be answered by you and I? That question can only be answered by Edo people, and that's what the campaign is about.
I guess you are an Edo leader, an Edo State man in the Senate. That's why I'm asking you, and you are one of those who are responsible.
It's academic now. It's academic now, because Edo people have spoken loud and clear that Monde Ukpeolu, a distinguished senator who had been elected last year, has again been elected this time by the other two senatorial zone, and is now declared as the governor-elect of Edo State. So you can ask those voters why they decided that way. They understand that if a man can speak like the Queen of England or the King of England, right? But he cannot build a classroom and their children are sitting on the floor, what is the value of their English? If you have written 1 million MOUs, right? Bring all manners of consultants. Even that's why you're one of the consultants anyway. And a hospital that was built by Governor Oshomole, equipped by Governor Oshomole, you convert it to a private hospital. You run it by consultants. And only the rich can go there. The poor are forbidden from going there. You demolish the other side of the hospital and replace it with a museum. You think the people are stupid? And so if you can speak good grammar, because you sit on a board, nobody know how you become a board chairman. Because in the real world of business literature, there are bonus directors, not on account of what the value of their share. Maybe they have a reputation for being able to do transactions and all that, PR for companies or whatever. But that's not really my business. Edo people are speaking. I think what you should spend your time scrutinizing is what is irregular in the outcome of this election. And that's what we are going to. Okay, I think we should just get there. And because to ask a question who is suitable, who is not suitable, no, because for you to over exaggerate, is to try to hold your value.
He will come. It's not my judgment. I'm asking the question as a journalist, and they say he will come with equity. Should come with clean hands.
That's right.
You are almost as the face of the campaign. And I reminded you of what you did in apologizing about Governor Godwin Obaseki.
Yes.
Now that Senator Kwewolo has won this election, The people are asking. They hope that Senator Oshomole will not apologize on his behalf.
And pray for that too. But let me ask you
and I wanted to you to give confirmation whether or not, Senator, just for a moment, whether or not you can confirm to the people of Edo State who are watching tonight that they are in for a good deal with Senator Pueblo. That was what I thought that you were going to do.
That was
by the question I asked you.
My answer need not coincide with your thoughts.
No, I'm asking you the right question.
Imagine that you know
I asked you the right question, Senator.
Listen,
how do you describe the capacity and the competence of the man that has now been declared as the governor-elect of Edo State?
Chill, that is the essence of the campaigns. The campaign season offers the people the opportunity to interface directly. In your own case, to interface with the elite. In the sense that those who are watching us now are those Nigerians in urban and who have light, and who probably have DSTV. Others, there are even many young people who can read and write. They prefer to be watching the musicals or some other channels. So what you need to understand is that when you talk in the manner that you do, you assume that those with, you can as motivational speakers. In any case, don't doubt me. I'm capable of engaging anyone, but that is not all that leadership entails. People now want to say, okay, Obaseki, I talk about his prowess. He can speak. He can organize. Blah, 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 blah. I said all of that, only to find that yes, but as this first idea, when he now had the key to drive the Edo vehicle, he derailed. And so the people are saying, be careful of these people who call themselves, quote, technocrat. When the government have been elected with political leadership ability, you can appoint as your advisor if you want. You can appoint him as your commissioner. You know, just like Obaseki was, in my opinion, a good advisor, because I was at liberty to decide which of his advice to take, which one I should modify, which one I should reject. But it's different being on the driver's seat. I just find that those who are good at pontificating, who can turn out tons of documents, when it comes to implementation strategy, they just fail.
So you don't think communication is as important as to deliver leadership?
How did we market Monday? It's through communicator. It's through communication. You are saying I was the face of the campaign, whatever that means. Thank you. But what makes me the face? Maybe because I was speaking to the quality of Monday. I spoke about the quality of Monday, and we got him to speak to the people as to what will he do differently. He has to justify those who are voting for him. Why should they vote for him? How will he be different from this rejected government? He has to speak to those. And that's communication. But the mistake you make, TV hosts, many of you, is to assume that anyone who doesn't appear before you. You exaggerate the import of television viewers. Many people dismiss you because
you think it's exaggerated. You think this conversation we're having is exaggerated?
Not exaggerated, but the way people put on the views you parrot. When you sit down here and say, I mean, many of you were close, in fact, you have voted. You, as a person, you have voted. I know few others who have also voted on the basis of, oh, this man is a board member, he's a director, he speaks French, English, he's a lawyer. And of course, he also said, Oshomole is a tailor, or was a tailor, and he was a lawyer, he's a chairman of a board. That's fine. That's why I draw your attention to that. That show are empty. To be electable, the qualities required. Read the book, the biography of or memoirs of George Bush, where he wrote, he went to, I think, Yale, and told the student that if you don't make it in university, don't commit suicide. He said he has a challenges academically, but as you can see, he is the president of America, the most powerful country on earth. He said that much. He had that much.
Is that the reason behind the strategy of your party not to allow your candidate to engage in some certain kind of communication?
It's not about not allowing him. We are not in a position to compel anybody. And how we communicate, don't use the word communication.
Because part of it.
The mistake you are making is to assume that the most potent means of communication is through television. It's not true. Radio is even more effective.
That's your assumption.
That's a fact. It's about reach.
You probably have a very little. No. I disagree. You don't have expertise in that area, so it's difficult for you to say.
No,
I disagree with you.
I'm a viewer.
Yeah, but you don't have expertise in the area. You don't have facts to defend. I am a communication expert, and you cannot talk about the potency of a particular medium where you don't have expertise to speak on.
We can argue that. I believe I'm a better communication expert than you, because let me give you an example.
That's your opinion.
Your opinion, my opinion. Exactly. Opinion is free. But let me tell you why I think I am a better communicator.
Go ahead, please.
As president of Nigeria Labour Congress, without the aid of armed forces, police, television, or radio, I was able to communicate with the Nigerian people and get them to defy Obasanjo's government and get them to sit at home for 1 week. That's communication, without the aid of even modern telephone. So your understanding of communication is the textbook theory, right? How you should dress, how you appear corporate and all that. Even my own choice of dress when I go out in my khaki is a means of communicating. To tell people, look, you can approach me. It's not a statement about suggesting I can't afford to dress better than you. No. But if I'm going to work for these people, they should feel able to approach me. I shouldn't look like that, the oppressor that they're running away from.
And I'm asking,
so communication
is that the reason why you framed the campaign and the appearances
as you can see,
of Senator Obdobelu?
Our strategy worked, which is why the people who vote and who voted
to shield him from certain kind of communication.
The real voters, perhaps those who are watching us now, they probably just that day they were watching. Have they started fighting and so on and so forth? I tell someone thing that will excite you, Chiru, and this is important for our country, is that I watch you because you are one of the most influential TV hosts. I mean, that is a fact, even if I don't like you for it, but you are. I wish I could take it from you. I don't like I add it to my own, but I cannot. You know, when a man goes to a village and speaks his dialect, it has more impact on those communities than when you speak high profile English, that when you finish, people say, Miachi. What did he say? So you do not understand electoral communication to be electable.
All right, so let's take a breather.
This question has been settled by the fact that the Monday communicated with the electorate.
You've chosen a certain strategy.
Them and they decide, of course.
And you think it worked for you? So, but
it worked.
Yeah, let's take a break.
We have won, and that's why we're celebrating.
Let's take a break with former Adams Oshomole. Thanks so much indeed, Your Excellency, for your time tonight. Let's take a look at some of the reaction. PDP is rejecting that election, and Yaga Africa says the election lacked the integrity. In 3 different local government areas, there are instances where results were supposed to be announced and collated at the local government area, but they were taken to the state. Are you worried about that kind of outcome of an election that you are rejoicing over?
You know what? Let me tell you, today as I was coming, somebody called me. It's not on my contact, but somehow during election season, sometimes you want to just pick calls. You never know who is calling and what information he has. And the guy said they are observers, if I can bring some money for them to do a press conference in our favor. I said, I don't need it. You are supposed to report what you see. Or if you like, report what you didn't see. Now, I don't know how many places they went to in Younger Africa. I don't know. But the local government you are referring to are in Benin.
Not a lot.
When you look at those numbers,
they talk about disruption in Ikubauha, disruption in Esako West, Ego, and Oredo LGAs.
Okay. Of that, Esako West is my local government. Which location was there a disruption?
It wasn't stated specifically, but they said there were cases of disruption.
See, I have to grant you, accept that you are a victim of disinformation. Because if the person wanted to be factual, he will say, if he's a competent reporter, he will say in so word, at so time, and describe exactly what happened. I went to vote. In fact, I woke up, it's through television, I realized they started voting. I had to wait a little bit, because sometimes material don't come on time. So I put on TV, and I saw even my mother was voting. So I have to just rush to go and vote. And I saw so many radio, TV, and print media people there. And of course, they witnessed everything. Peaceful people queuing. And I even saw EFCC noticing around, maybe they want to look for those who are buying vote or not buying vote. So I don't know where you got your information from. I can't comment on it. Are
you aware, Senator, about the situation that led Governor Obaseki to INEC office and the instances in Ikubauha, Ego, where election results were taken from local government area and was not conclusion of collation was not done there as against what the electoral law says, and they took them to the state office.
Okay, now you quote electoral law, and I understand you are a law student right now. That same law does not allow a governor. I was a governor. I never leave my polling booth. Once I finish voting, if I like, I wait a little bit at the polling booth, I chat with people, and then I call home. If I find that my appearance here is attracting more attention, I just quietly go home. How can a city governor go to a collation center in clear violation to intimidate and probably to influence the result or to change the result? What was he doing there? By INEC rules and law that you have quoted, every party is entitled to one agent. And incidentally, the law prohibits anybody who is holding an elective office For example, as a senator, I'm not eligible to be an agent. A governor is not eligible. An elected council chairman cannot be. President cannot. How can a governor go to coalition center while coalition is going on? My shock is that the Nigeria police escorted him to that place. And you know, when I see them speaking from both sides of their mouth, like the actually chairman of PDP was saying now, I saw Obaseki yesterday through Channel or Arise or so, talking about commending the Nigerian army. Commending the army for being very professional, the way they manage the election, etc., etc. We had issues with the security agencies. Later, I will show you on my phone what I wrote to one of them. Because when you see a crime being committed, you're supposed to be able to call the police. I just find that all sorts of things were happening. But the saving grace is that majority of the people want the votes to count, and they were ready to vote.
Senator
and they
Oshomole,
voted.
the question is, and you are not bothered about what looks like an unusual activity in an electoral process.
No,
a result is supposed to be collated at the local government area, but it was taken to the state collation center. There are stages to the collation of result. Are you bothered that that process was not properly done?
When you quote a liar approvingly, I have difficulties. Because you take people who are notorious. I call PDP people deceiving people, Papa deceive Peking. Because the history of rigging in Nigeria, how they tried to convert Nigeria to a one-party state, was through barefaced rigging. It was President Obasanjo who first used the word that the election was a do or die, which Obaseki has also now copied. If they do, they will die. He told you here. He insisted. Now the people have done it, so he's dead.
You don't think this election was rigged?
Listen. Rigged where?
What I'm asking you.
It's not rigged.
Think that this election is a
This election is a reflection of the will of Edo people. Are you not surprised that it's not possible to rig an election without violence? Now, with all the same people who were calling for bloodbath, or basically refused to sign peace accord, which shows that it's a worse version. Since you call people like us godfathers, it's a worse version of godfather. He didn't even allow the candidate. It is not governor to sign peace accord. It is the candidate that signs, right? Once he pronounced it, they were ready for war. And in the end, how come that whether before the election they kill people, they kill a police officer attached to APC candidate? And he said that if anybody tried to arrest those who killed the man, that Nigeria will burn. And my pain is that as we speak,
that local
those
murderers were not concluded at local government.
I don't have that evidence. I don't have that evidence. But let me also say this. It is possible because in my election, in 2007, I went to court. When all the elections results were collated at the residence of the then chief of staff to no, I think then he was deputy governor, Marco Giadume. We proved it in court, and the court said, our lawyers argue and I listen. Assuming there was violence, they said because there was violence, so it was not safe, or there was no light, or for whatever reason. But my conclusion from all the argument was that under certain circumstances, if it is impossible, whether for reasons of insecurity or whatever, they can collate in a designation as approved by INEC. Now, this is purely INEC decision to take, not me. So, but you see, my problem is that you are quoting an interested party. That was so for people who publicly insisted that this is a do or die. So by fire, by any means, they must win.
I quoted
and now they didn't win.
I quoted a civil society organization.
Civil society.
And Yaga Africa and some other Situation Room, TAF Africa, all of them, all of them came out to say this election stands less than the standard practice that we should have as an election in Nigeria. INEC also came out to say this is the reason why they took the result that the collation was not finalized to the state collation center, which is against the electoral law. And you don't see anything wrong in that, Senator?
Do you want me to repeat myself?
No, I'm asking. I quoted a few people, but you disagree with that. But I'm saying that civil society organization.
Yes, to be civil society doesn't make you an angel.
When they came out with their fact, they observed the election.
What is the fact?
They came out
with their opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's based on a science. It's a scientific observation process.
So it's a scientific process. What is based on the science? What tools did they deploy?
Monitoring.
Yes. What is the monitoring tool? What special equipment?
They have
what evidence did they have?
They have all the details, and they've been doing it over several other
elections. The fact that a man has been alive for 100 years doesn't make him an angel.
You have been a victor in going to the court.
I launched one man, one vote campaign.
And you have come out victorious out of the court. Are you worried that a lot of question mark has been raised on this election could upturn it? Are you worried about that, Senator?
You know, your problem is that you don't talk about your fears, your worries. You are never talking about my hopes. I will talk about hope. You are free to parrot about fears. I will parrot hope. I hope that now that the people have spoken, that since the Monday on November 12th will be sworn in, then it will be Governor Akpako-Mensah, that he will recognize that people queued up to late evening to cast their vote so that he will have the executive power to address the socio-economic challenges facing the state. And they are huge.
Senator,
that is what my hopes are. I mean, to ask me to speculate that if this matter go to court, that there could be possibility that the matter might fail in court, that the court could overturn it, it's academic.
Senator, let me ask you, you stood on the other side of the divide against Governor Godwin Obaseki, who is now seen as a political enemy. Once he
enemy, opponent. Use words that are not too frightening.
Are you? I know what you did. Are you still very? I mean, there's not every time you're on the other side that you want the other side dead. But the question is that it doesn't look like your relationship with him is as cordial as he was your economic advisor.
No.
So the question is that once he defeated you, now it looks like you have defeated him.
And he paid you. Well, listen,
I'm a journalist.
You know what? You are a journalist.
I have no interest.
But the question don't give you license.
I have no interest.
You from biases.
But no, I don't have. I don't have bias.
Every human being does. Only that many some may
I have my bias because you and I share the similar heights. Aside that, I've got no bias.
You are too hard on me. But let me say
the question is how do you feel about him? Because you have always spoken about how you don't like his politics.
This is very interesting. This INEC that he is criticizing now, demonizing. The same INEC conducted Obaseki's election in 2016 and declared him the winner. Then it was perfect. In 2020, this same INEC, when I say same INEC, under this same chairman, the current chairman, he was the chairman of INEC in 2016 that declared Obaseki the winner.
But different rec.
Then this same national chairman, this same INEC, conducted Obaseki's election in 2020, back to back, and declared him the winner. Now, this third one, they have lost. So INEC has become something, INEC is suddenly a devil. They have been fine institution who are doing very well. They have improved the system, which of course is true. By 2016, there was no beavers. He won. By 2020, I think they probably have introduced it. I'm not too sure. Now, let me ask you, Shehu. This last year election, because we need to look at facts, talking about the analysis and scientific evaluation. If you are going to do statistics, you extrapolate into the future or the base of the past. Last year election, PDP lost across the 3 senatorial zone. They have no single senator. They lost Oredo, they lost Ikubauka, they lost Ego, they lost Oriomo, they lost of their federal constituencies. They have no House of Rep member, they have no senator across the state. It's only necessary because there was a technical problem, election was postponed, they had enough time to manipulate, so they had only one member of the House of Rep. That is just last year. And that was the people's verdict of PDP. Right? So what has changed between last year and now for him to think and for you to believe that those who rejected PDP just last year, 2023 election, around March, right? That this year they have consistently rejected PDP, and you think that's unusual?
Let me ask you.
I know what should have shocked you is that having suffered such a woeful defeat, they don't have one senator across the 3 senatorial zone. They don't have any federal constituency, not in Oredo, not in Ego, not in Ovia, not in Oriomo. So what is the basis for their expectation? Other than they have huge amount of money they have piled up to do all sorts of things to manipulate institutions. I saw him celebrating the Nigerian army. Now when the results are out and he did it with, then everybody's suddenly a devil.
Let me ask you quickly, if you don't agree with what the PDP say, I'd like to get your view on what the Labour Party...
No, but I'm also trying to ask you a question.
No, you can't ask me a question. No, you cannot.
You don't have immunity.
No, I invited you. I have immunity on this program because I'm not with this program.
No, when I'm my guest. We have a conversation.
You are my guest. So we can have a conversation. But let me quickly ask
you. Nice to your guest.
I am nice to you. But this is what Peter Obi said, and I'd like to get your view on his own
From Anambra home, he saw what was happening, right? Go on.
He said, what happened over the weekend in the name of election in Edo State does not in any way represent the democratic process we chose as a method of electing our political leadership. Instead, it was a blatant example of state capture and continued gross undermining of our democratic process and values. Any nation whose leadership recruitment process is so fatally flawed is doomed, and we are all seeing the effect in our country. those in authority not to allow this situation to stand or depend on it to remain in power. How do you react to that?
Simple. I watch, check the records. The candidate of the Labour Party, of which Obi is probably their leader, but doesn't seem to be interested in party. He's more of obedient, not party. He's not an institutional person, all right? Their candidate, unfortunately, we can't say it's unfortunate because, I mean, that is the will of the people. Report says that he lost his unit to PDP, not to us. So if a candidate lost his unit to PDP, not to APC, maybe his attack will be on PDP. But I also noticed that when they came for a rally in Benin, he didn't wait till the end of the rally. Or if he waited, at a point he disappeared from the screen. But I don't want to really talk about Peter Obi. He's my good friend. We were governors at about the same time. I invited him to commissions of project for me in Edo State, and he did. We are good friends. It's just like the nature of politics. Sometimes, I don't want to throw away all my friendship or to throw away my goodwill. But the truth of the matter is, from his sitting or from his hometown in Oka or in Lagos or wherever he was speaking from, certainly he was not in Benin. That is how he arrived at that conclusion. But in any case, I'm not surprised. Don't forget that only last year, Obi and Atiku were both claiming that they won. Two people claiming ownership of one phone. Two people. They don't know it's my own. Oh, it's my own. So, I believe one of them must be lying, at least. And yet, they were entertained.
Let's finalize on this note, and perhaps in less than 60 seconds, that's what I'm being told that we have. Going forward in this election, when back and forth, there are a lot of forces who don't agree with the outcome of the election. Where does the party go from here? Legitimacy is a very critical factor here, don't you think?
Those who elected Senator Mondo Paolo are Edo people. Obi is not from Edo State. The PDP chairman is not from Edo State. That's why Ighodalo is a occasional visiting Edo State person. He doesn't live in Edo. He operates from Protea Hotel. He doesn't live in his village. He doesn't campaign. I campaign from my village. I campaign from my house. You say you saw people in my house yesterday. Let him do press conference at his residence to show evidence that he resides with the people. He's a visitor. And I told you people earlier that Edo people will not elect a visitor again. Visitors from Lagos. And then when they get to Edo, they say, I don't know Lagos. Meanwhile, they made all their money one way or the other in Lagos. And then they think it's a political good statement to me. Oh, I don't know Lagos. All right, I don't know Lagos. But you don't understand they do because you live in Lagos. Edo people will elect a visitor. He's a visiting Edo guy.
So that's your statement about the issue of legitimacy.
The election was won by Senator Ubeolo. So he has the mandate of the people. And that is what you call legitimacy. It is when you don't have the mandate. Or if you know the guy, you have just told me that this man is weak, is this. And yet he was able to rig out these boardroom people, this director with all the money that they combined, with all the wealth that they have. A poor man like Monday is able to buy them out.
The allegations of federal might that is
federal might. It is say federal might. Good. Federal government was there. In 2016, Obaseki won. In 2020, APC federal government was there. Oda Buhari, and he won. Then it was fine. There was no federal might. The state might here. Do you know what? When I saw Obaseki celebrating the Nigerian army, but see, I'm not here to criticize anybody, but we have huge difficulties. And I said sometimes the problem we have is because we're APC. If you complain of police brutality or police ignoring you when the crime is being committed, or police shielding people, police provided escort.
And so, totally out of time.
Okay. I believe we have won the election fair and square, and we thank Edo people, and I hope that Senator Mondo Paolo upon this one will do everything possible to justify the huge confidence reposed in him, and that he understands squarely that governance is a huge challenge.